Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 170 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are going to be talking about contribution. Of course, this whole month we're focusing on the area of contribution. Each month we pick an area of focus for our life and we go deep into that in different topics to help us to do one thing every day to be a better version of ourselves. So today our exercise is the Lifeline exercise. It's like timeline with a twist. Today I'm going to run through how do you create a timeline. If you're just joining me and you haven't ever run into me before, you might not have done the timeline exercise, or in this case, our Lifeline exercise. So run through the 5 or 6 steps to do that, to create your own. Talk about a couple of people's stories and how using their personal lifeline has helped them to see how they could improve their life or change their life for the better by being more active in contribution, and how contribution can help them heal pain of past events, etc. So how do we go about creating our lifeline? It's super easy. Think of those timelines we did in school. You know, whenever there was a big, like leading up to the world wars or something, we would see in our history books a timeline of key events and dates that happened on certain dates in sequential order, right? So we're going to do the same thing with our life. This is my timeline graphic, I call it, my visual aid that I created in 2020 as part of the pandemic, when I started really sharing different areas and aspects of my life that were helping me to get the results that I wanted in my life. And one of those tools is a Lifeline exercise. So I created this little visual, and it's expanded to a 3-part presentation board for my personal lifeline. And I actually look at it every single month based on the area that we're focusing on. And I review the lifeline. I add events. I look for patterns. I look for different things specifically with respect to the area of life, the life framework that we're looking at. This month, contribution. So all we do to create our own lifeline is we grab a piece of paper or a document on your computer, depending on what works best for you. You can even do it on your phone on a document. We draw a horizontal line starting with the year we were born. I always start with the year I'm born, 1960. Yes, I am that old. And go from then on. And as you can see, I did this in 2020 and just started adding years. And then I just finally was like, okay, we just put an arrow because we're not planning on checking out anytime soon. At least I'm not, and I hope you're not either. Then we mark our birth to the left, and then we mark like I said, the arrow to the right. Then we begin plotting major events in our life: school, relationships, struggles, achievements, traumas, wins, illnesses, losses, whatever seems like it had an impact on you, either positive or negative. We're going to write those things on line. So as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of events written on my lifeline. Then we're going to look at each of those events today with respect to contribution. And then we're going to say, okay, well, how does that make me feel? How did I feel? How did I feel? What was I feeling during that time? And if contribution was positive, if I was contributing, if I was involved with other things outside of myself, that would be an above the line data point. And you get to pick subjectively where you are on your own contribution line, right? Then if it's something that we weren't doing anything, we weren't interacting with others, I got to tell you, when I was raising my kids, my level of contribution to things outside of my family was pretty small because I was swamped between work, business, kids, significant other, my husband at the time. There wasn't much time left for anything else, including self-care, which came to haunt me and hit me big time in 2010. Lesson learned. But then we're going to note the impact that these events had on our emotions, positive or negative. And overall, we're going to look for moments of contribution. Where were we contributing the most? Where were we contributing the least? And then just ask ourselves some questions about that. We're looking for times when you gave back or made a difference. We're looking for seasons when you felt like, okay, I'm disconnected and being selfish, or I have different priorities. My priorities are to take care of those closest to me, which is contribution, by the way. And then moments of awakening or service. When was I doing things that made me feel good? How did it make me feel? And then patterns around helping, volunteering, mentoring, generosity, sharing information, being authentic and open and honest. And I say one of the best ways we can contribute to the world is to be ourselves, be our authentic, kind, making the world a better place self, right? We all have the opportunity to add positive or negative to the world, and it's always a choice. We all have the opportunity to choose how we're going to respond and react to everything and anything that happens to us, through us, and around us. And how we do that sets either an example for the world or a warning for the world. Our social media feeds are full of warnings for the world, warnings and showing people. People show us exactly who we are, including us. We show other people exactly who we are, whether we're aware of it or not, right? In all of our actions, all of our activities. Now, most people just see little snapshots of us, and they only see what they're looking for, as do we. We only see what we're looking for and what we're filtering, because all of our brains do that automatically in the world. And most of the time, our ego and our identity are involved, keeping us safe, right? So that's our assignment for today. We're going to create our own, or plot on our existing lifeline and evaluate it and look at it for contribution. And then I would love if everybody would just share one aha or realization about doing this exercise with respect to contribution. Maybe you say, okay, I thought I was doing more, and when I look at my lifeline, really haven't been doing as much as I possibly can. Or, wow, if I were to get involved with this organization, this would help me heal my pain of loss of my father, or whatever it might be for you. Contribution weaves in and out of every area and aspect of our life. Remember, we've defined contribution much broader than giving money to a nonprofit. It's helping and interacting with the world outside of us in any way that makes the world a better place. Any way that puts positive energy into the world, to me, that's contribution. Opposite of contribution, I guess there's givers and there's takers in the world, right? And sometimes we need to be a taker because we're having problems or challenges. But most of the time, we can all be givers. And if everybody were giving of themselves and being themselves, the world would be a much better place. Let me share one person's story. I'm only going to share one so we don't go too long. Sarah was bullied from childhood. She had a really tough childhood, scarred by bullying and isolation. And as she reflected on her timeline, on her lifeline, she realized that she'd never truly healed. She'd really never let go of the isolation and the bullying that she felt. And that was having ripple effect and ramifications through her life, through her choices, through her level of confidence. So she decided that she had a deep compassion for others that have been left out. So she started a mentorship program at her local school for middle school girls to help them increase their confidence and be truer to themselves and realize that they could figure anything out, because they can. And her pain became her platform for contribution. Boy, I'm really slow today. And so anything, either pain from the past that we want to heal, can lead us to the areas where we want to contribute. Or sometimes we contribute from the high points of our life where we're doing really well and feeling really successful. We say, hey, I want to get back to people that were like me when I first got started, because we all just got started somewhere, right? None of us were born successful. None of us were born failures. None of us were born in pain. Well, I guess we could argue we were all born in pain. Anyway, I think you get my drift today. So, Lifeline exercise. Do it. Share one thing that you learn and see about yourself. And it doesn't have to be, anything super dramatic. Find a way to present it that doesn't, feel awkward to you. But share something, because that in and of itself will help other people to realize what a powerful tool and exercise this is. All right. Any questions? Ask me. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.